sports and entertainment, as well as all of my videos as well. And salute to the whole entire LDBC basketball and boxing community. And salute to all the people that rock with me. Share the video too as well. Get it out there. Want it to be heard. And let's just jump right into this thing. Now, I want to give a shout out to fellow YouTuber Crunch Time TV. If you're not sub to Crunch Time TV, definitely go follow his channel. He definitely got good content over there, good basketball content, and gives a great breakdown in his video. But I saw him talking about this, and that is that Gilbert Arenas, okay? Of course, you know, Gilbert Arenas has his podcast, former NBA player, has made his way through social media, that sort of thing. Used to, but that doesn't mean that I agree with a lot of things that Gil has to say. And in this instance, I definitely don't agree with what he said. And basically, what he was saying is that Cade Cunningham being being a part of Nike could ultimately be the exit from Detroit, and the fans need to be ready for that. So basically, he was saying that being that Cade Cunningham is a part of Nike, this will impact Detroit because, you know, Cade Cunningham might want to go ahead and leave Detroit. Salute to you, Brown Sugar. Hope you're doing good, sweetie. And you're putting that out there, you know, and I disagree with that. And I'm with Crunch Time TV on this one. How are you going to put that out there, that type of energy out there, when you know that Cade Cunningham has been with Detroit when Detroit was going through some dark times, okay? This is a guy that has been under the radar for a couple of seasons now. Now that he's emerging and he's, you know, showing that he is a superstar, because to me, he was always a superstar, just like nobody talked about him. Now that he's emerging, he's cracked the MVP talks and everything. Now you want to start putting this negative stuff about him, knowing damn well that, you know, Cade Cunningham is going to ride or die with Detroit. Okay, Detroit is back to being at supremacy. They're back to being possibly a contender. You know, and now you want to put out there that this guy's going subject to leave. How could you do some shit like that, man? How could you do some shit like that? You see, these guys are young. Don't forget that this is a Cade Cunningham, along with Jalen Duren, because we can't forget about Jalen Duren. These are two guys that have been in since from the beginning. Okay, they came in together to, you know, a struggling franchise. Okay, and you know, this was like, you know, when Blake Griffin was there and everything like that, you know, to barely, you know, making the play in. I think it was they barely made the play in, or possibly the playoffs. I couldn't remember which one, but they weren't good at all. Nobody was really paying attention to them. To now, all of a sudden, people's eyes are open again about Detroit. And the thing about it is this was a guy that stuck through thick and thin with Detroit when they were they had set that record with Monty Williams on that losing streak, and people were giving up on them then. And a lot of fans probably gave up. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Detroit ain't gonna do nothing." But that was until they made some moves. Okay, the front office. There was a front office change. Tranger Langdon had took over. Then of course the coaching change. Then a few personnel changes, and now they back cooking with grease again. Okay, so how you gonna sit up here and you're gonna say, oh yeah, he's gonna leave and all this other stuff? You're doing a disservice to the fans. The fans pay their money to see Cade Cunningham. The fans pay their money to see the Detroit Pistons. The fans pay their money to not be cheated. That's just like what I was talking about earlier. And Cade Cunningham's not going to do that. That's why you don't see that guy missing a lot of games, taking a lot of games off and stuff like that, even still playing, even if they might be shorthanded or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Cade still shows up, and that exemplifies a winner, a leader. He is the point guard of the team. He is the floor general of that squad. He's the shoot. It's like they call him Motor Cade, just like the brother. Shout out to who is Hendo. They call him, Motor Cade. Look, he literally, that's what his name should be, because he does have that motor, and he's the motor that that flares that team and gets that team going. You understand what I mean? So Gil is wrong in this instance. I don't agree with him at all. I don't believe that Cade is going to do that. He's a humble guy, respectable guy. He does come from a southern traditions, being that he's from here in Texas. And I'm not saying it's just all about the Texas being having southern traditions and all that other stuff. I mean, you could be from anywhere and have respectable traditions and values and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is he's come from humble beginnings. You know what I'm saying? And this guy is here in Detroit to stay. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, just from the outside looking in, because he could be like this next guy that we get ready to talk about, like Lamelo Ball. And the reason why I'm talking about these two on the same title is because you got one guy that stuck through the thick and thin. Okay, they didn't seem like they were going anywhere. It seemed like it wasn't no light at the end of the tunnel. To now being at the top of the Eastern Conference, second best team in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Through all of the trials and tribulations that they have went through. Then you have a Lamelo Ball, okay, which Lamelo Ball is a talented player, okay. I'm not gonna take that away from him, but let's just call it what it is with Lamelo Ball, okay. Hold on one sec, y'all. Yeah, but Lamelo Ball adds no value to any team. Okay, I know that probably is sorry about the train, y'all. I know that it hurts a lot of people's feelings, and y'all get blindsided. Y'all get blindsided by the talent. Y'all don't look at the value that these players bring. Lamelo Ball, okay, his first season that he played, got hurt, okay? hurt. Injuries happen because again, he's had multiple injury, ankle injuries that have taken place. Now, he played 51 games his first season. Then his second season, I think he played 70 games. Okay, which was pretty good. He played 70 games, but then that very next season, only ended up only playing 22 games. Then uh, last season, he you know he had to end up having, uh, I think it was a season-ending ankle surgery, and now again we back to the square one. His ankle again. He's missed, uh, now. I want to say it's been about 8 games, 8 or 9 games. He's played about 9 games. Well, so he's missed about 7 to 8 games. He's missed about 7 to 8 games. But what I'm saying is okay. But you asking to be traded. You want out of Charlotte. Okay. You, last time I checked, right, you were supposed to be the face of that franchise. They drafted you with the intention of you being, the guy. When Derrick Rose came to Chicago, okay, Derrick Rose could have came in and been like, man, I'm not playing with nobody. Uh, nobody really knew who anybody was outside of Derrick Rose. I mean, okay, some people knew, a lot of people knew who Joe Kim knew Noah was, and a few people knew who Kurt Heinrich was and everything. But pretty much the only person that you saw was Derrick Rose on that squad. Now, they had a lot of, Rough Riders on there. Now, me speaking from basketball perspective, no, he had some people on there that was that could, uh, I would say, fill a void in terms of the role player aspect of things. Like being glue guys and stuff like that. But as far as superstars and superstar, you didn't hear anything about anybody with the exception of Derrick Rose, and then eventually later on, he didn't start really coming into his own. People didn't really look at him in that light until later. Lamelo Ball, man, a lot of this is on yourself. A lot of this is on you. Okay, it's on your inability to stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, with a lot of the guys that have been hurt, because that seems to be the subject lately, is low managing, injuries, stuff like that. A lot of these guys that stay hurt and have been low managing and stuff like that, a lot of them have brought this on themselves. Now, let me dive in deep into this one. Okay, if there's an uncontrollable injury that pretty much can rob a guy of his athleticism or possibly his career, like a Paul George, who is unfortunately wreaking the havocs of that took place. Everybody that saw that gruesome injury, okay, such as a Gordon Hayward, such as Sean Livingston. But see, I have a hard time fathoming with all these guys that sit up there and, oh, he's hurt and stuff like that. When Gordon Hayward, he bounced right back and was still able to play. Okay, was he playing at the level that he once was? Of course not, because of the gruesome injury that he sustained, but he still was able to play a couple more years. It's the same thing with Paul George. I give Paul George credit. Now, have I been critical of Paul George? Yes, I have. I've been very critical of him, but I give him credit because he's still fighting to be out there. There'll be some times when I'll be like, Paul George, come on, get out there and play, but he hasn't been sitting down like last night. For instance, he got out there, he played. He could have sat down, been like, nah, or missed 6, 7 games in a row like Joel Embiid is doing and stuff like that. But he chose not to. You know what I'm saying? Sean Livingston, okay? Sean Livingston had a devastating injury. I'm talking about a devastating injury. If you go back, it's probably on YouTube. They probably done, slowed it up and freezed it to where you could see it on Google with all the technology and everything. It was horrible. But he still came back, still was a key piece in the Golden State Warriors championship run. You know what I'm saying? And he settled for being just a decent role player. But coming out of high school and into the NBA, Sean Livingston was that guy. McDowell was all American, man. Sean Livingston was a nice point guard. You know what I'm saying? And he had his potential was through the roof, but we saw what happened. Unfortunately, it robbed him of a lot of the things that he was able to do. You know what I'm saying? Prior to the injury, but that's why I don't fathom a lot with, oh, he's been hurt, give him a break and stuff like that. Hell, there's a lot of guys that done had a lot of ankle injuries and they done bounced back. Steph Curry, okay? Steph Curry done had numerous of ankle injuries. Matter of fact, a lot of people didn't even think that Steph Curry was going to succeed. They did not think that Steph Curry was going to succeed in the NBA. And guess what ended up happening? He became the best player. Yes, I said it. The best player of this generation. Regardless of people want to hold me down, all that other stuff. He's been the best player of this generation. Okay, and I have a hard time with excuses. I know Brown Sugar, she the same way. Excuses are like assholes, of course. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, you gotta give me something better than that. And I always go back to the same thing with LeBron James, right? Listen, you may not like LeBron. You may not like what LeBron stands for, okay? You may not like all the tacky shit that he does. But the one thing that you can't say about LeBron is that he did not come back ready to play and stuff like that. Of course, this season, this was nothing to do with no sciatica. Okay, you said Ball wants to go to a winning team. I understand that. Salute to you, Stephen. Make sure y'all go sub to Stephen Green. Listen, man, Stephen Green, I disagree with you on that, homie. Look, Jordan wanted to be in a winning team. Okay, Kobe wanted to be with a winning team. I could go on and on. Magic, you know what I'm saying? Even though he came in winning, a lot of these guys, Larry Bird. Let's take Larry Bird, okay, who I got as my starting small forward. Larry Bird came in, and the Boston Celtics were not they were not a competitive team at all. Matter of fact, I think their win rate, their number of wins, uh, jumped up once Larry Bird went. I don't even think they made the playoffs. But guess what? Larry Bird, he stuck it through. You know what I'm saying? He stuck it through, kept going. They of course they Magic ended up winning in '79. You know what I'm saying? He ended up, they didn't make it or whatever. But guess what? He stuck it through with Boston. Thing with Jordan. When Jordan came in there, Steven, guess what? There was a whole bunch of cokeheads on the team. There was a whole bunch of people on drugs. Guys, guys that you don't even know no more. You know what I'm saying? Besides like Orlando Rorridge and maybe George Gervin. You know what I'm saying? Charles Oakley. Some of those guys, but a lot of those guys you can't even mention. But guess what? Jordan said, no, I'm going to stay here in Chicago. He might have wanted to leave, but he worked on his game. And see, listen, Steven, Brown Sugar, Lamelo can't give me that broken ankle shit. You know why? I'm going to tell you what happened to Jordan. He broke his ankle his second season. And guess what? He still ended up coming back and 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 sticking it through. Shea Gilchrist Alexander, okay? Let's go ahead and talk about him. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't talk about this, okay? But when Shea Gilchrist Alexander had first got to OKC after he came with the Clippers, right? Guess what? He had season-ending ankle surgery. He had a season-ending ankle injury. Okay, he only played about 34, 35 games. But guess what? He bounced back. Had some injuries here and there. But if he could walk on it, guess what? He was gonna play. And now look at him. He has yet to miss a game, and he's still playing. You know what I'm saying? Lamelo Ball, he's showing a pattern of what Joel Embiid is gonna do. He's showing a pattern of what Joel Embiid does. He's showing a pattern of what Zion Williamson does. You know what I'm saying? Kawhi Leonard, his situation is a little bit different, but some people just ready for him to just go ahead and pull the plug. You know what I'm saying? If your body can't hold up no more, it just can't. You said how long Charlotte been having losing season? Enough is enough. Time is running out. Well, you have to play harder. You have to be out there. It can't listen. You've had players that have come through, but that's just what I'm saying though. Derrick Rose did not make any excuses, and he still was able to take that team to the playoffs. They damn near they could have went to the championship. If you really want to be real, they fought Cleveland tooth and nail, and you didn't know anybody on that squad except Derrick Rose. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, he's damn wasp. So I'm not gonna just sit up here and just give all these players a whole bunch of excuses. Oh, we gotta build some people around him, all this other stuff. Cade Cunningham didn't complain. For a long time, people overlooked Detroit and everything like that. Now look at them. People did the same thing with OKC. Now look at them. You got to learn and grow with your people. But if you ain't never on the floor, if you always hurt, you're never gonna establish any continuity or any type of chemistry. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And then on top of that, he doesn't have any. Listen, I know people gonna disagree with me, but Lamelo is showing his inability to stay healthy. He's showing the reason why he probably not, his trade value is not going to be that high, and teams are going to kind of question him, is because they're looking at him as a liability, man. They're looking at him as an injury-prone player. You know what I'm saying? What do you want, Stephen Green? You want a situation where you bring in a Bradley Beal? Now look what happened. You know what I'm saying? Do you want a situation where you bringing in let's say like a Joel Embiid type? Oh yeah, you play in the Olympics. Oh yeah, you playing in off season and stuff like that. You up in here hooping and hollering and stuff like that. But then when it get time for the season or the preseason, oh, you don't want to play. Oh, there's something going on. I got this problem. No, teams are tired of that. You said, look at this. The reason Charlotte is losing is because players want to go to big cities like LA, Miami, Chicago, Houston, New York. No, that's not the problem. Who won the championship, Steven? Who just previously won the championship? OKC. Is OKC a dominating market? Is OKC bright lights in big cities? Is OKC beaches and big titties? Is OKC, you know what I'm saying? Late at night, partying and stuff like that? No, it is not. Boston is a big market. That's the year before that, and then the year before that, it was Denver. You think people want to go to Denver? No, they don't want to go to Denver. You think people want to go to Milwaukee? No. So it don't have nothing to do with no big markets or nothing like that. If they want to go to big markets, 9 times out of 10, those players either want to go there, you want to party, have a good time, and worry about all this other nonsense like CeeDee Lamb is doing. CeeDee Lamb out there, you know what I'm saying? He want to get drunk. You know what I'm saying? And talk about, oh yeah, I don't disrespect me like that. I can hold my liquor. Motherfucker, you need to be worried about holding the ball. That's what I'm saying. Paul, you need to worry about catching the ball, man. You worried about holding your liquor. You worried about holding the wrong thing, man. You shouldn't even be worried about that stuff right now. Y'all need to be worried about getting to a championship. And that's what I'm saying. The mentality is the mentality gotta be right. Shea Gilchrist Alexander, he could have been like, nah, I don't want to go to OKC. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to that place. There ain't nothing there. But guess what? He made him a household name. Shoot, you know what I'm saying? I don't look at it like that, Steven Brown Sugar. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got to go over here. There's 50 people over there. Nah, I ain't never been like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with the people I got over here. Hey, you stay over there in Miami. You stay over there in New York. You stay over there in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? DC, all that other stuff. Good. I'm good over here. You know what I'm saying? You said everybody wants to go to Los Angeles, and not everybody. Not everybody, Steven, because everybody can't handle it. When you go to New York and when you go to LA, guess what's gonna eat you alive? The media. When you go to guess what's gonna eat you alive? The pressures. When you go to New York and you go to LA, guess what? And listen, even if you're not in a big city or something like that, guess what? There's still dangers over there. There's still stuff that can happen. Look what happened to SGA. He got his house broken into. You understand what I'm saying? Matt Moses, I see you in the building, man. But that's what I'm saying, man. Listen, bro. I don't tolerate excuses. Your ass want to, I want to get out of Charlotte. I want to get out of here. No, man. Stay there. Make it work. You know what I'm saying? But if you go somewhere else, this is going to be the same shit. You go. What value do you bring to another team? Now, if you go to Atlanta and you could stay healthy, I could see something like that happening. But you got to stay healthy, though, LaMelo Ball. When he's healthy, man, this dude is talented. Now, granted, he takes some unorthodox shots and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But and his shooting percentage is kind of low. You know what I'm saying? He's a volume scorer, so that's what concerns me. But as far as running the break, as far as him pulling up in transition, as far as him getting his teammates involved, his length, him being able to fill up a stat sheet. You know what I'm saying? His assist to turnover ratio got to work that. He do have some turnovers and stuff like that. But when he's healthy, man, this dude is, he's entertaining to watch, but now you getting into the point of a career, man, it's got to be more than you being entertaining to watch. You know what I'm saying? You said a question, Paulo, if a player, if you're an NBA player, who would you play for? The Clippers or the Lakers? I play for either one. Hell, hell, I I'll play for the Wizards. I'll play for any team. You know what I'm saying? It like that's what I'm saying. We got to get out of that mentality. Oh yeah, I got to play for the LA Lakers. Or I got to play for the New York Knicks. Or I got to play for the Boston Celtics. You can play for one of them teams to get your ass backed out. Which one you want? I'd rather have a ring. That's what I want, and that's what SGA is doing. Hell, ain't nobody. They still not talking about SGA and OKC. I am. Shit, you know what I'm saying? But if I had my choice, you know what I'm saying? I'd probably do the Lakers, of course. But it don't matter to me. If you put me in the Clippers uniform, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to put my best foot forward. Everybody like, oh man, you just play for the Clippers. Well, shit, a couple seasons ago, people were like, oh, you play for OKC. Next thing you know, look at them now. You understand what I mean? Like it's not about that. It ain't about the market and stuff like that. Look at Milwaukee. Hey, Giannis said he's here to stay in Milwaukee. He ain't never ran from his team. You know what I'm saying? Milwaukee ain't no huge market or nothing like that or whatever. But guess what? He stood there. He's standing 10 toes down over there. That's what it's about. You see, Dame, he had to go back to Portland and everything like that. He was like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna go over there. And Portland ain't no big market either. Now it's a big city and everything, but it ain't no huge market like that in comparison to New York and Miami and all them other places. But it don't matter. Anywhere you go, you know what I'm saying, you still got to represent for your team. And Charlotte, see, you could be in the best position right now to make Charlotte a household name. Why you want to leave? Nah, stay there. Uh, do what you can to try to build it up. But nah, you want to run. You want to be like, oh, nah, I want to trade and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Part of it is your fault. A lot of it's your fault. But anyway, man, that's just how I feel. You might feel differently. Make sure y'all like the video, share it, subscribe, hit them notifications too. It's straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Shouts out to the LDBC, basketball and boxing. Till then, I'm out.